Welcome back, my treasured viewers. This is Alfonso de Rocha tutorial, and in case you were part of our last video, what we have today is the written analysis of the bar chart that we analyzed orally, that we discussed orally in our last video. That bar chart measured the variations in unemployment among 8 groups in the population of the USA in 1969 and 1979. That is a survey covering 2 different years, 1969 and 1979. Their varying percentages in the rates of unemployment among 8 population groups in the USA in 1969 and again in 1979. It is that bar chart that we want to analyze in writing now. The IELTS report writing Task 1 requires a word count of approximately 150 words, and it's to be written in 20 minutes. And what this entails is that the writer has to be exceptionally skillful, knowing exactly what to do at what time and what not to do at what time. The report writing is, of course, a summary, like I had stated earlier on, a summary of the main features of the economic model on which the writing is based. As a result, there are a number of skills that you need to imbibe to be able to do justice to this kind of report writing. First, like I had pointed out in the immediate previous video, you need to develop skill in the grouping of data. When I say grouping of data, I mean grouping values that are similar together. The extreme values have to be grouped together. That is talking about the highest values and the lowest values. And then the intermediate values are to be highlighted on. These are values whose details are not needed so much. Because if you have pointed out the highest values and then the lowest values, it is understood that the other values are intermediate, that the other values are between these 2 great extremes. Apart from learning how to group data, you need to know that the first paragraph of your report is a paraphrase of the topic, a paraphrase of the theme, a paraphrase of the caption of the economic model on which that report is based. That is the paraphrase, is your intro, your first paragraph. And then the second paragraph is often referred to as the overall. It is because most IELTS examiners and instructors begin this second paragraph using the word overall. That it simply means an overview, a general examination of the trends, the movement of values in the economic model being studied. But because of this frequent use of the word overall at the beginning of this second paragraph, IELTS candidates worldwide have started referring to the second paragraph as overall. However, this paragraph does not require the quotation of figures. You simply present what you can see from the economic model at a glance without attaching values or figures to them. Let's first of all begin with our question or the task we have to do. It says, IELTS Writing Task 1. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons were relevant. That means our task is to select the main features of the charts, of the bar charts. Select the main features and report them, and then be able to compare values and make comparison where this is relevant. The first paragraph reads, the chart illustrates the variations in unemployment rates in the USA among 8 population groups in 1969 and 1979. The values are expressed in percentage. Now, this last sentence is very important. If the topic or the theme or caption of the economic model does not state the units in which the values are expressed, you are to state it as the last sentence of your intro, just like we've done here. We said the values are expressed in percentage. You can say the units are expressed in percentage. The units of values are expressed in percentage. After this intro follows the overall, that is the second paragraph. And it reads, overall, 1969 recorded the lowest unemployment rate across the 8 groups, with married men having the lowest unemployment rate in the survey period. On the other hand, teenagers aged 16 to 19 witnessed the highest rate of unemployment in the study period, while women who had families came a distant second. What have we done? We have put together the extreme values, that's the lowest values and the highest values together. That is what we call grouping of data. We have said in this second paragraph that 1969 recorded the lowest rate of unemployment throughout the survey period. Lowest, that's an extreme value. And then that the highest rate of unemployment within the period occurred among boys and girls, that's teenagers, aged 16 to 19. Another extreme value, highest. And that this highest record was distantly followed by women who were heads of families. They came a distant second in the rate of unemployment during the survey period. We have said all this without quoting any figure. That is the way the second paragraph is written. That is the overall we are talking about. Then, the third paragraph is what I would like to call the analysis paragraph. That is where we do the real analysis, attaching figures to whatever point that we make. Let's take a look at it. It begins in 1969 and 1979. Teenagers of both sexes, aged 16 to 19, with unemployment rates that stood at roughly 13% and 16.1%, respectively, were highest on the unemployment index. With approximately 7% and 5% unemployment rate in 1979, women who were heads of families came a distant second. That's what we're going to add. says, with approximately 7% and 5% unemployment rates in 1979 and 1969 respectively, women who were heads of families came second. That is, these women came second in the unemployment rates. At this juncture, we are set to move into the fourth and final paragraph. And so that brings us to the end of our written analysis with the last paragraph written. It says, other groups, including all workers, experienced wage and salary earners, females 20 years and above, and blue-collar workers had an unemployment rate of just above 5% in 1979, while across all groups, unemployment below 5% was lowest in 1969. So this is a model IELTS Tax 1 report. This is the way this kind of writing is to be presented. It is concise. You go straight to the point that you want to make. You do not overlabor it. That is why we are told at the beginning to select only the main features and report them, and then make comparisons where necessary. The comparisons are inherent in the report. For instance, reporting the highest values first and then reporting the lowest values separately is already a comparison. When we quote figures that are highest and the ones that are lowest, we are already making the comparison that is implied in the question. And so, thank you, viewers, for keeping faith in us today, for being there for us, for accepting to be our audience. We are immensely proud of you. I want to close this video by asking you, by appealing to you to please give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe to this channel. Like this video. In that way, you will encourage us to give you more of this kind of videos. So see you in our next class. Bye-bye.